All right, everybody. Welcome to this edition of the Stogie 411 show. And as you can tell, I am joined by Matt Maruna today instead of my usual partner in crime, Mike Williams, because he's old and decrepit and kind of hurt his knee and had to get stuff replaced, and it's just crazy. So, anyway, how you doing, Matt?
I'm doing pretty good. Yeah, I stepped in. Mike's in the chat room, and he's can at least still do that. He had to get his oil changed and all that kind of stuff. So, well, here we are. And we're here with Mark and Lilo, one of the sides here, from Cremo Cigars. How you guys doing today?
Great. How about yourself?
Doing pretty good.
And Emily is here, too. You forgot about Emily.
Yeah.
She waved. I saw it. All right. Well, let's get this show kicked off here. And I guess, Mark, tell us, about the company, about Cremo Cigars. Give us a little background and what you do.
Well, Cremo Cigars was actually around back in the early 1900s. I mean, back in the 1910s to 1920s, they were the premier cigar brand in the United States, based out of New York originally. And they're still identifiable by murals all over the United States. I mean, you can still find old murals of Cremo Cigars on buildings everywhere. And being that once upon a time Cremo was the premier cigar to have in the world, Lilo found out about this, came across the name, bought the rights to the name, and we've decided to bring back this brand. Now, granted, we're not bringing back the same blends or anything that they used to have. It's more of a rebirth of the name itself.
Nice. Now, how did you do a lot of research? I guess I'll ask Lilo this. In order to find that name, is it something that you grew up with, that you knew of Cremo Cigars and you just figured, let me find out if I can get that?
I actually did a little research, but I fell in love with the name. I thought it was something different. I thought it was something cool. And when I looked, it was available. It's been available for years, and I said, "Wow, I need to jump on this piece of history." And we need to bring this back. It's over 80 years ago. We need to bring this story back to the cigar industry, and like Mark said, it's more of the rebirth. We're going to give it our own a flavor, our own touch, but the name itself, we're gonna definitely preserve the name and just give it our own touch.
It's one thing that always amazes me when I hear somebody bringing a brand back, how many brands have been just forgotten about over the years and just faded into non-existence, and they're still out there for people to come back and revive.
Right. And we're gonna give it our brand is it's gonna be the cigar for the newer generation, the younger crowd. It's an old brand, old name, but with a new flavor, and we hope we can just capture the audience and just take it from there.
Now, one of the questions I have, it's El Titan de Bronze is making these. I have to ask, were they your first choice? I mean, were you looking to have them made in Miami, or had you looked at other places? I mean,
well, I've been in Miami about 6 years now. The story says it all, and it's on our website. I walked down Little Havana. Many different factories, and it was something about this one factory, El Titan. When I first walked into that factory, it was just something that just captured my attention, and I've been working along with them for quite a few years now, and they've been around for about 18 years, and to me they're one of the best in the industry as far as their rolling methods, their style. They do bring something different, even though they been considered more of a boutique kind of factory, but they definitely bring something different to the game, and that's why I chose them.
And to kind of build on what Lilo's saying, the cool thing about El Titan de Bronze, you walk in and Sandy, I mean, she's just amazing. I mean, she's pretty much our cigar mother. You walk in, it's hugs and kisses. Everybody's drinking coffee. Everybody's smoking cigars. I mean, you sit down at the rolling tables with the rollers, and it's just a great time. Lilo's there all the time. Unfortunately, me being in Texas, I don't get to be there quite as much. But what they produce, is unlike anything else in the market. The rollers that they have at El Titan de Bronze are all level 9 Cuban rollers that have been doing this all their life. This is what they've devoted their lives to. And the product that comes out of there from a result of that is just absolutely unbelievable.
And I want to point out, Mikey and I are both smoking them. I'm enjoying it so far, and I'm sure, as everyone can see, it's putting off quite a bit of smoke, which is something I love. I mean, I want a cigar to put off smoke. I don't want to have to struggle with it. I mean, that's part of the experience.
Definitely, definitely. Now, go ahead and tell us about your cigars. Tell us about the blend that you're using. And we all know El Titan de Bronze, where they're being made down in Cali Ocho. And just let us know about the blends and the sizes and where people can get them.
Well, what you're smoking there is the Cremo Classic. It's available in 3 sizes. That's the only blend we have right now. We are currently working on some new ones. But what you're smoking there does have a Habano wrapper, a Nicaraguan binder, and then a combination of Dominican and Nicaraguan fillers. The great thing about the cigar, it was blended more on the upper end of medium to medium full. We've had nothing but great reviews behind the cigar, and different palates really treat it different ways. But the great thing about it is it's really blended to be more of a floral. It gives you a lot of that cedary notes that a lot of other cigars really do. But the Habano wrapper really gives it that little bit of spice that really takes it over the edge.
Yeah. Now,
if I can just add that, of course, our first line was blended exclusively by master blender Willie Herrera, which is now with Drew Estate, which I believe he will be launching his own personal line at the show next week. But that's one of the great things that our brand has been blessed with was we were actually the last line that's coming out of El Titan that Willie was able to blend, and we feel very, very honored, and I think that's definitely why our cigar so far has been a success. It starts in the blending process, and he put a lot of time and effort into blending the cigar, and the people got to try it. It's a great stick.
Yeah, Willie's a great guy. I've had the chance to meet him a couple years ago, and really everything I've tried that he has put out has been great. And so far, actually, this is the second one of these I'm smoking, and I enjoyed the first one a lot. And actually, Mikey, I think, was a little surprised by it. But
yeah, well, like I said during the pre-show a little bit, that it surprised me just because of up front the pepper and power that I got from the Toro when I smoked it.
Mikey is more of a mild to lower medium, and
normally, yeah, I enjoy medium to full-bodied smokes too. Just I don't care for nicotine, which I didn't get from your cigar. I got the full bodiness, I got the full flavor, but it was nice because I didn't get that nicotine hit, at the end or anything else. It was really an enjoyable smoke. But it is, and it's surprising. A lot of people look at a cigar and you see a lighter wrapper and go, that's not going to be that bad, and surprise.
And on that note, I'm glad you mentioned that. That's why we're currently working on our next series. I won't put out the name yet, but it's going to be definitely a Maduro wrapper. It's going to be full body. It's going to be full force. It's what everybody wants, and it's just going to be an incredible cigar. I mean, the marketing that we're going to put behind it, everything around this next series is just gonna put the one that you're smoking at the top as well. I mean, because it's just gonna help push what we have now. And if you want full body, you definitely got to try the next Maduro series, which should be right in about 2 or 3 months.
Okay, that just answered my next question. I wasn't sure if you were looking at IPCPR or if it was down in the future, but like everyone typically says, when the tobacco's ready.
When the tobacco's ready, it's actually aging right now. We originally wanted to launch it at the IPCPR, but we want to focus on the classic series. We want to push this. This is our first show. I think it's only, we want to do things right, and we're going to push this one first at the show, and based on the success of this one, I think it's people are just going to be waiting with anticipation for the next one. And it's going to be the one that you're smoking now is the classic. We're going to switch it up a little bit with the Maduro, and again, we're going to keep all the details a surprise, but it's going to be complete opposite of the classic in terms of marketing and the band and the style. It's going to target more of the younger crowd.
Now, who is doing well with your blending? Is Willie Herrera still going to blend for you, or do you have somebody else?
Unfortunately, Willie, he's no longer with El Titan, so Sandy, along with the Rollers, they have a master blender in there. Juan, he's been with them for many years. I mean, it's going to be the traditional Cuban style, and we keep pushing that. I mean, it's going to be a Cuban. It's going to be the closest thing, and what you're smoking right now is probably the closest thing that you're smoke to a Cuban style cigar. I mean, everything about our brand is 100% Cuban, with the exception of the tobacco, which is imported from, obviously from Dominican Republic and Nicaragua. But again, the triple cap, the way of rolling the cigar, the blend process, the aging process, that's why it's different from everybody else. It's being rolled in Little Havana, 100% Cuban.
Now I have to ask, I know there's, depending on companies and stuff like that, people have different levels of involvement in the blending and stuff like that. I mean, is this something that you kind of told them what you were looking for and they brought blends back to you, or have you gotten more involved to the point of picking tobacco, stuff like that? I mean, have they just put the blends together and had you try them to see what you liked, or?
I'm involved in the blending process. I'm not a blender.
Yeah.
They put the blends together. To be honest with you, I like all of them, but we're looking for something specific. We definitely want to lift it up a notch from what you're smoking now. We're looking for that full bodiness. It's kind of weird because when you talk about a Maduro, in our brand, obviously it's called a Cremo, and we want to give this cream a texture to the cigar, flavor. We're trying to experiment where we can sort of create a Maduro that has a creamy flavor, and that's going to be a challenge. But if we can keep the concept going, where we can create some sort of cream to the Maduro, I mean, it's going to be amazing. But it's going to be a challenge. It's going to be more of a full body stick.
Really, the ideal behind what we're wanting to do is create a full-bodied stick that anybody can smoke. Full-bodied cigars are what's really taken over the market right now, and I smoke a lot of full-bodied cigars, and a lot of the other people out there that smoke full-bodied cigars and enjoy doing so. But the thing is not everybody is a full-bodied cigar smoker. We want to be able to create something that appeals to even people like Mike, who don't particularly prefer the full-bodied cigars. But it's something that he can smoke and enjoy and really get an understanding with as well. Even though Willie's gone and he's not going to be blending our next cigar, we've learned a lot from Willie. At the same time, everybody in El Titan de Bronze has also learned a lot from Willie as well. Therefore, this is going to really give Lilo and I an opportunity to be very involved in the blending process, and this is what's going to basically set our future aside to where we can go in and blend all of our next cigars ourselves. We know what we're looking for, and they're going to be able to definitely help us find that. So,
now, one of the questions we actually had from the chat room is, you guys both seem relatively young guys compared to the rest of the business. How long have you guys been smoking cigars? How did you get into cigars in general?
That's a good question. I've been smoking cigars ever since I was probably 12 years old. My father was an avid cigar smoker.
Folks. He was 18.
My father taught me how to smoke cigars, play golf, and drink scotch. And anytime we'd be on the golf course, he'd hand me his cigar and let me take a few puffs on it. And from there, I mean, it really it spawned an obsession for myself. Lilo's story is much different than that.
Well, growing up in the streets of Brooklyn, yeah, I smoke cigars as well. My grandfather was an avid cigar smoker as well, and it's just been around our family all our life. But I got heavily involved in the cigar world once I moved in to Miami, and in Little Havana. That's all you do is just smoke Cuban style cigars, and my palate has really evolved since I moved to Miami, and I mean, that's all we do is smoke all day, every day. Woke up this morning with a cup of coffee, smoking. Probably when we're done with this interview, we're gonna go smoke. I'm headed back to the factory. We're getting ready for the show. But yeah, a lot of smoking.
Sounds like a sweet deal to me.
Tough life. Tough life. Now, okay, since with your cigar smoking experiences, what was the first cigar that you actually, your first premium cigar, let's say, forget the Swisher Sweets and all that good stuff out there. What's the first premium cigar that you ever smoked?
For me, that would be the Monte Cristo number 2.
For me, it was just a regular Padron cigar, and I really got to mention Padron because he's one of the he's one of the living legends of this industry, and that's who I look up to. I mean, enough respect goes out to Padron, and I mean, when you talk about leaders in the industry and who you would want to be like, that's who I look up to, and I'm kind of like doing a little Carlos Fuente. I only smoke what comes out of El Titan. We do try everybody else's stick to see what's going on out in the industry and what people like, but I'm loyal to El Titan. I smoke everything that they have in stock, and just kind of following in the Carlos Fuentes footsteps.
And something a lot of people don't really realize is all the different brands that El Titan is involved with. For instance, La Polina, the Goldie that just came out, was rolled exclusively in El Titan. And that was by one roller, Maria. And she's an amazing person, has a great story to tell. She was one of the few women that was actually allowed to roll cigars originally in Cuba. And she did all 10,000 of the cigars that were rolled for the La Polina Goldie herself. I mean, she bunched them, rolled them, banded them, packaged them, everything. She was involved from the beginning to end. She was the only person that touched those cigars. Casa Miranda, Padilla, they have a stick that's being made out of there right now. They're really involved in the cigar industry, and it's really a time for El Titan de Bronze to really shine right now, and we're extremely excited to be a part of that. We really are.
Yeah, I've seen their name coming up more and more, and That's sounds like it'll be their year, and hopefully everybody's year.
Absolutely.
I mean, we've got something coming out of there. I mean, that's a good chance.
And Titan is really big on the term boutique. They take the rollers. The maximum that they roll is about 125 sticks a day. They're really high on quality control. The complete opposite of what these big brands are putting out, and obviously the big brands are putting out great sticks, but one thing about El Titan, it's all about quality control. It's more about quality than quantity, and that's what we're putting out. Thus, what you're smoking right now, it's a quality, it's a premium cigar. It's not something that's just, we don't focus on quantity. We focus on, and at the end of the day, that's what we're trying to put. We're trying to provide the consumer with a great stick. We want you to enjoy it. A premium stick all the way.
Well, I will say I do notice a bit of a attention to detail. It does have a nice draw on this, and that's one of the toughest things to find in a lot of cigars, is the draw does vary greatly. And well, this is my second one of the Toro, at least, that I've smoked, and the draw was exact the same. I mean, it was consistent.
And I'll tell you this, knock on wood, we've never had a single cigar come back with any type of draw or burn issues. We really pay attention, and we really want to know what people think about the product. And fortunately, to this date, we've had nothing but great reviews across the board. I'm sure there's going to come a time where something happens, but so far so good.
The handmade product, it does happen on occasion, but to some more than others, and it shows. I mean, that's the questions we have from the chat room is, Lilo, about your hat. They want to know about the Cremo Cigars hat. What's the story behind it?
Well,
I know you told us in the pre-show a little bit, but they want to know.
This is just a preview of what we're coming out for the next series, for the next stick. Just to give you a little bit of a preview, and I know your question was about the hat. Our next series is going to revolve around art. This was just a sample hat that a buddy of mine out in Harlem, New York, he prepared for me. He made it for me, and he made one for my daughter as well. We got a series of hats, and we're probably going to be selling these online. We're still testing them out. We've gotten great feedback. I wear it everywhere I go, and it turns heads. They're coming straight out of New York, and like I said, it's just a preview of what you can expect for the next series.
I believe you were telling us that he's also a graffiti artist.
He's a graffiti artist, and we're actually working with a couple of artists. I want to say graffiti. That's not. It's going to be a splash of graffiti in our artwork, but we'll leave you guys with a little suspense.
It's the way to do it. Keep them coming back for more.
Yep.
All right, now what about? Oh, okay.
And ultimately, it'll be about the stick, not about the artwork or. Like I said, we're just targeting a younger crowd. You mentioned us being young, and we're targeting people our age. We don't expect the Padron smoker to drop a Padron to pick up a Cremo. We actually want to target the new crowd, the people getting into the cigar world to experience our cigars and enjoy it, and then hopefully capture them. They can grow with us.
Right. Yeah. Now, is this going to be your first IPCPR?
I was actually at the IPCPR last year. We did not have a booth. I did a lot of networking, met a lot of people. This is our first IPCPR, and hopefully it will not be our only. We're actually getting ready for next year's IPCPR, which I believe is going to be in Vegas. It'll be back in Vegas, but Yeah, this is our first one. We're going to be at booth 1825. Again, we're going to be introducing the classic series to the retail world, to the retailers, and hopefully, I mean, we're confident that the retailers are going to accept our product.
Yeah, I was going to ask you, what are you most looking forward to with this being your first IPCPR with your own booth? What are you looking? Are you just looking for the interaction with the retailers?
Mainly, networking is going to be key.
Right. Go ahead.
Networking is going to be key. It really is, and not only do we want to meet the retailers, you know, with media and with social networking, it's pretty easy to get a hold of a lot of these people, even outside the IPCPR. However, this is going to be really an opportunity to shake their hands face to face, let them smoke the product there at the show. But more or less, we really want to meet the other people in the industry that can help us out in boosting our brand from where it is to this day. You know, there's so many different people that you can come across that that can help really increase your profitability, help get your name out there. There's so many people that just want to be involved, and IPCPR is really going to be an outlet for us to get a hold of those people.
Now, how many retailers are you guys currently in at the moment?
We're in a couple different retailers throughout Texas, Michigan. We're down in the East Coast, down in the Keys. Right now, we're really focusing. We took this opportunity to put our product online at cremocigars.com/shop, and we're selling everything at full retail, and we don't want to upset the brick and mortar stores. Therefore, we're not selling a discounted product online. We just really wanted to give the people that have been wanting to try our product an outlet to actually get their hands on that product, and It's been doing absolutely wonderful for us.
Yeah, actually, Mikey and I got these from Rich at East Coast, which I'll take this moment. Thank you, Rich. And
Thank you, Rich.
I think you said he's the only other person online that actually sells them.
That is
He's
correct.
the only other person. Yep, he's the only other person, and East Coast was probably one of the first retailers we were able to get our product into, and he's definitely I want to say he was a smart one, because when we were creating a little buzz that we were sending our sticks out to the bloggers, to the reviewers, and by the way, our reviews have been all consistent. They've been all great. Not one negative review on our stick. That the consumers actually wanted to get their hands on this stick. East Coast was the only one that had it available. So I tell you, I personally drove to the Keys and dropped off Rich the shipment, and he's ordered from us quite a few times. And I always say he was the smart one to jump on he took a chance with our product, but he's gotten rid of the inventory.
Yeah, that's good. Now,
Well,
I will say somebody in the chat room, they were asking about any presence in Florida, but if you go to cremocigars.com, that's the website.
Correct.
www.cremocigars, plural with an S at the end.com.
Right, and you can go right there and actually click on the stores, and shop.
Shop.
Well, shop is to order from you guys, and then you have another link. I think
Correct.
it's stores. And that lists the stores that you're presently in, so you can take a look in there if you're curious if there's a store close to you or not.
What do you guys think about the website? What do you guys think about the website?
I like it. It's different in the fact the pictures rotating at the top is kind of a neat thing for me when I'm viewing and reading the website. It was easy to navigate.
And whenever we created that website,
the nice-looking lady on the front doesn't hurt either, I will say.
well, we were looking at a lot of other cigar manufacturers' websites, and there's some good ones out there, and there's some out there that are not so good. And we really wanted to give the ease of use, and we wanted something classy. and we didn't really want to go overboard with what we were doing. But it's very chic. It's very different from what a lot of the other cigar manufacturers are doing. A lot of our focus primarily right now is through social media, though. We're even doing a contest. If you go to our Facebook fan page at facebook.com/Cremo-Cigars, if you like our page, you're automatically entered to win a free box of cigars. And what we're going to do once we hit 1,000 likes, which right now we are at 733 likes, once we hit 1,000 likes, we're going to be giving away a free box of cigars at random to one of our Facebook followers.
Nice.
Okay. Well, I got a question actually just emailed to me. They wanted to know, are each of the sizes blended to taste the same, or are they, meant to have distinct flavors? Because I know some manufacturers and such try to have each size be a little bit different. Or are you trying to get the same experience for the most part out of each of the sizes?
I actually learned this from Willie. It's the same blend, but they all taste they all taste different. It's just something about the size, the shape. Once it burns, you will get a different taste in each cigar.
Okay.
And for example, Lilo's favorite is the Toro. My personal favorite is our Corona Gorda. I like a smaller ring gauge cigar. I like to be able to taste the wrapper. Our Habano wrapper is very spicy. With the Toro, that spice is still there, but it's complemented really well with the rest of the filler and the binder. But that Corona Gorda for us, I just like that smaller ring gauge, and it's a completely different smoke compared to all the rest.
Now, we had another question in the chat here. With your company, where do you see yourselves as a company in 5 years?
Walter?
I'll let Mark answer that one. He's the director. He's the director of sales. He's actually running the company.
The easiest way to answer this is we're fighters, and we're gonna be there no matter what. Lilo and I both have a dream of making this company come back and bringing the Cremo name back, and we're going to do everything within our power to make that happen. The great thing about what we're doing is we're coming from the very bottom up, and as of right now, it's really more or less a grassroots type of effort. It all depends on the consumer, and folks like you guys out there really helping us push the product along. We've got a great product, and there's not a doubt in our mind that we do. We've got the tools to make it successful. Now we just got to build the relationships and get people on our side to help us do that.
Now, one question I did have. You're based out of Texas, Mark, and Lilo's based out of Miami. How'd you guys end up together, I guess, to say it? I mean...
That's a good question. I used to write cigar reviews for a publication that I won't mention, and Walter sent samples to that company to be reviewed on their site, and I was the one that actually wrote the review on that cigar, the very first Cremo Cigars review, and I mean I was so blown away and taken aback by what the product was. I was put in a situation where I was able to change careers, and all my life I've worked for somebody. I wanted an opportunity to work for myself and build something from the bottom up. So after I had written the review for Lilo and Cremo Cigars, I contacted him via email and said, "Hey man, look, I'm all in. Let's do this and let's make it happen." And that was the beginning of a great relationship, and we work very well together.
Now, you're a small company, and what challenges, like this was a question in the chat room too that I had, what challenges do you see that you're facing as a small company coming up in the cigar world? What are the challenges, the biggest challenges that you face?
I think the biggest challenge is probably getting the attention from the consumer. From the retailer. We're definitely getting the attention from the consumer, and thanks to you guys and the reviewers, our reviews have been consistent. So that does help. But the retailers, I think this industry, and I hope I don't get in trouble for this, is very brand driven. We're representing more of the boutique brand. We're representing the Tatuaje, El Titan, those kind of brands. But the industry seems to be very brand driven, and that's where we hope to come in and kind of change that mentality a little bit, because I mean, you're smoking a premium stick, and I think it would be an injustice to the consumer and to the cigar world not to give the opportunity for people to try a stick like this, especially when, I mean, we're working day and night to put out a quality stick.
And jumping into the cigar industry is like trying to get credit when you're 18. It really is. I mean, you don't have any credit when you're 18, so nobody wants to give you credit. It's like a, damned if you do, damned if you don't type of situation. But the great thing is, and that's why we took the opportunity to open the store online, to really give the customers an outlet to get in there. And Walter said it best. I mean, the industry is very brand driven, and that's not a problem. We've got a great brand. And we're in the process of right now of creating that brand. But whenever we approach the retailers, it's kind of like we've kind of heard about you, but we don't really know anything about you, and it's definitely been a long road. But with putting our cigars online and giving the consumer the opportunity to get them, it's definitely created a buzz, and we've been getting a ton of contacts. Just from retailers going, hey, we're starting to hear about you. Let's get you in our shop.
Starting to see that kind of as a trend amongst smaller companies also, is selling them themselves on the website. I mean, there are a lot of people out there that are interested in boutique cigars that want to find something new. They want to find something different, but getting the retailers to commit to purchase, I mean, a lot of retailers they have a group of guys that tend to smoke the same thing majority of the time, and they're going to stock what they sell the most of and what they know those guys will smoke. So it's kind of tough to break into. I mean, to me, it seems like a smart venue to just get it out there, give people the chance.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. And we're building more of an exclusivity type market. We're not intimidated by the retailers. We will find a way to get our sticks to the consumers. And whoever wants to smoke a Cremo, whoever wants to smoke a Cuban rolled cigar or something different, unique, boutique, they will be able. They'll have the opportunity to buy exclusively on our site.
Now, do you see anywhere in the future with the big online sites? Now, I'm here in Pennsylvania, so we have like probably the most online cigar sites anywhere. The biggest.
Holtz.
I mean, yeah, Holtz, CI, Famous, Atlantic. I mean, there just tons and tons of them. Probably because we have no cigar tax like Florida. But do you see your cigar, or are you going to promote your cigar to them, or are you going to just do brick and mortar?
Nope. It's brick and mortar, and on our website, we will not. We're not going to bring down our brand like that. We don't want our sticks being sold for $2 on these cigar websites.
We have something very unique, and if you look at it like this, if you want to go out in any form or fashion, you want something that's unique, whether it be from a choice in food or a type of car. You can't just go get something that's unique anywhere, And we want to keep a little bit of that, We don't want to necessarily make it hard for people to get, but we want people to seek us out. You know what I mean?
And you
don't want people to feel like they're going with the mainstream.
Right.
Your price point is like $8 to $10 a stick.
Right.
So that'll give people an idea. That way, if you want to pick them up, and you can just see it right on their website too. So.
Right.
And one of the questions we do tend to ask on a regular basis is, Cuba, stuff like that. There's been so much talk that eventually might open up. Is that, if their tobacco ever comes available, is that something you guys want to use along with what you do? I mean, or are you just very happy with what you have now, or do you see Cuban tobacco as that next step if it ever becomes available?
We're open to all options. I mean, it's no different than using a blend of Honduran, Nicaraguan, Peruvian. If Cuba opens up, it's just another option for tobacco to use. If it blends well with the other tobaccos that we want to blend it with, that'd be wonderful, by all means. I don't see us ever making a, hypothetically, if the market does open up for Cuban cigars, I don't see us making a Cuban Puro by any means. But it would definitely be something to explore in the blending process.
Now, along those lines, I'm curious, do you see down in the future, now I know it's more expensive to make a cigar in Miami than it is Dominican Republic, Nicaragua, Honduras. Do you see yourself expanding to those countries to try to get a price point that's even lower for customers? Or are you more concerned with staying in the United States with Caliocho and El Titan?
We love being a United States-made brand, but by all means, in the future, there's going to be the necessity for us to produce out of the country as well. We want to be able to provide something that's value-oriented for the customer as well. But at the same time, right now, our main focus is creating a product that is unforgettable. We want something that every single one that comes out of the box is perfect. And it's harder to get that outside of the country. And, in Miami, literally Lilo can drive 5 minutes and be at the factory and make sure things are being made properly for us. We can see it being made. Out of the country, that becomes a little bit more difficult.
Yeah, that's I've heard that from a lot of people. It's a little more expensive here in the United States, but it's a lot easier to control the quality and everything else if you're making them here than if you have to keep flying to a country, because that'll just raise your costs anyway.
Absolutely.
And I think once we get to the level where we're focusing on quantity versus quality, we'll worry about that. Right now, we're focusing on quality. To be honest with you, it kind of balances out. By the time you add everything, your cost to go to Nicaragua, and a lot of these guys are constantly in Nicaragua and Honduras and traveling back and forth. It's kind of like the same, to be honest with you. It is a little more expensive to have your product made here, but we're happy. We're happy with the way things are going, and we're focusing more on quality versus quantity.
Now, do you see any difference with being in the cigar industry with with say the rollers at El Titan compared to rollers at other factories in other countries? Absolutely.
Each roller in the factory, it's responsible for their batch versus the factories out of the country where it's more of a process where everybody's it's touching the cigar. It's how do you say that? Everybody works in a production line. That's the difference from what we're doing. Each roller, we have one roller that rolls our cigars. They touch it. They're the only one that quality control, basically.
And that another way to look at it as well as you get what you pay for. Quite honestly, out of the country, these people get paid pennies to dollars a day, maybe. Here in the United States, we got to pay them a good old-fashioned U.S. wage. And whenever you do that, you get people that are much more methodical and meticulous about what they do. Outside of the country, you can still get that, but on a consistent basis, maybe not. Here in the U.S., we know it's consistent. We have literally the same person that touches every single one of our cigars. And he knows exactly what we want, and he knows exactly what our consumers want. And that's very important to us. And it's hard to get that whenever you're not paying very much.
Now, as we're explaining that El Titan uses only level 9 rollers, can you guys elaborate on what a level 9 roller is? Not everybody might know that. I don't necessarily know the clear definition of that either.
A level 9 roller is somebody that's been in the industry a very, very long time. It's actually different. It works on basically a tier system, and I'm trying to think of the best way to kind of use an analogy for this, but in a nutshell, and the short version of it is it takes a very long time to get to that level. And they're
top of the pyramid, essentially.
It's the highest level of roller that I definitely experience. It can explain, but it's the highest level of roller that you can find, and these rollers have worked in well-known factories and brands in Cuba. Sandy does not hire a roller that's not a level 9 roller. This is the top of the top.
Now, we have a question in the chat, and I'm curious about this myself. Now, here in the United States, everybody's heard with the economy, how the economy tanked, and I still think it's tanked. I still don't think there's a recovery going on yet. But somebody in the chat room is asking, do you see yourselves producing a more affordable cigar somewhere in the near future for the people who can't go out and spend $8 to $10 on a cigar but still want to enjoy something while they're unemployed or looking for work?
Absolutely. I think a value-oriented cigar is definitely in our future. But as we stated earlier, right now it's all about quality, and quality is expensive. And there are good quality value-oriented cigars out there, but being the young company that we are, we're not ready yet to produce that. And being that we're still made in the United States, at that price point that it costs to create a cigar in the United States, it's very hard to do that. Once we get out of the country, by all means, we'll have something out there that anybody and everybody can afford.
There you go. All right, now, how about this one?
Oh, my.
You guys all know, you smoke cigars in the industry from other people. What is your favorite cigar that is not your own right now to smoke?
That's a tough question to answer. I'm a huge Tatuaje fan. I'm a huge Drew Estate fan. But by far, I think probably the best cigar I've smoked this year is by a company that not a lot of people can get their hands on. Based out of Ecuador is a company called Achievement Cigar Company. Max Myers is the CEO, and back when I was writing reviews, I got in contact with Max, and him and I have actually been good friends since, and the majority of his product is actually sold out of China. And he created a brand called Propio, and by far to this day, that's probably still one of the best sticks I've ever smoked.
One of the best things that I've smoked this year, and Mark actually gave me one to try, is definitely the Drew Undercrown, the Maduro, San Andres. That stick is incredible.
Cool. It's always nice to hear what you guys smoke other than your own cigars.
Well, let me tell you how much Lilo enjoyed this cigar. We were actually sitting out at a restaurant in Miami, and I was smoking a Illusion Epernay, and he was smoking the Undercrown. And it started to just rain like cats and dogs. It was a torrential downpour, and we're still smoking our cigars, and him and I are huddled up under an umbrella in front of this restaurant. Everybody's done run inside, and it is pouring rain, and we are soaking wet, but we are still smoking our cigars because we don't want to put them down.
That's commitment.
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, well, all right. Did you have anything else, Matt?
Oh, why don't we do our question that's come up many times. It came from the chat room a while back, and we seem to ask everybody this. If you were on your deathbed and you had one last cigar to smoke, what would it be? This is the last cigar, you're done.
Oh, man. It's a tough question.
For me, my very last cigar would be probably a Drew Estate Unico L40. I'm a big Lancero fan, and the L40 blew me away this year. I think that would be the cream of the crop last smoke, either that or the Dirty Rat.
If I'm gonna die tonight, I want to die with a Cremo in my mouth.
Mark, you're fired. I'm sorry, but
right?
Yeah.
I'm just not in love with it when anybody's brand right now. It would just be mine. I'll die with a Cremo in my mouth.
Well, this is your cigar when it comes down to it. I mean, you're having this blended for what you want, and I can't blame you. What we hear a lot of is the longest cigar I can find.
Yeah, we get that one a lot. It's like, just give me the longest one. That way it won't die for a while. All right. Is there any we didn't cover with you guys that you guys want to get out there for anyone, or did we cover everything that?
I just want to mention one more time. If anybody, you guys really want to try our sticks, all you got to go is to our fan page, Facebook fan page. We're getting close to 800 likes already, 7 something. We're right around the corner. Once we hit 1,000 likes, we're going to give out a box of cigars for someone to enjoy. Visit us, Facebook / Cremo Cigars, and just hit that like button.
Make sure to put that on the website when we post the show. That way people can find your Facebook and also the website.
I mean, what a better way to try our sticks for free? I mean, we're gonna pick a lucky winner at random, and they're gonna be smoking a piece of history. The new Cremo Cigars.
It's good to know.
Okay.
And we actually just got a question on our Facebook page to answer. Mr. James Klein is actually watching us right now, and I've actually been talking back and forth with him. He's actually going to be traveling to Miami in September. He's asking if our Maduro is actually going to be available for whenever he's in Miami in September. Unfortunately, I don't think that our Maduro will be ready by then. As with all good things, it takes time. But we're definitely going to be more than happy to meet you there at the El Tidon de Bronze factory in September whenever you come through.
Look at that. You get questions from everywhere.
and what we can do for that gentleman is, if we're in the blending process, which we are already, we're just trying to narrow it down to what we really want. We can probably give him a sample of the blend for him to try, and just give us his input whether what we're working on is the way to go. So let's make it a point to meet him at the factory in September, and we'll give him something to smoke to see if we're working on the right stick.
Absolutely.
That's great. See, now that's above and beyond right there. That's great.
Of course.
All right, guys. Well, I want to thank you very much for joining us today. And hopefully, I mean, the hour, well, almost an hour went by pretty darn quick. So good luck with everything you guys do. Good luck with the cigar. And hopefully more and more people will be smoking it here in the near future.
And since IPCPR's around the corner, what booth are you guys again?
We're going to be in booth 1825. We're going to be right behind, or right to the side. I think it's kind of behind to Rocky Patel, believe it or not. So you see that big Rocky booth? I think we're going to be right behind him. I'm sure he has a booth as big as a football field. But yeah, we'll be right behind him. Just pass by and stop by and say hello. Pick up a stick.
All right.
Exactly.
Sounds great, guys. Hey, thanks again for joining us, and very much luck in the future.
Yes. Thank you, guys.
Have a great day.
Hopefully you guys can have us on again once we have that Maduro.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, absolutely.
Definitely.
We'll have you back at some point, check in with you, see where you guys are. And by the way, I really did enjoy
Bye,
this.
Emily.
Thank you.
We're glad to hear that. Thank you.
See you.
Have a good one.
Alrighty, I'm switching things around here. Sorry about that. I screwed up and forgot to switch to me first. Oh wait, no I didn't. I really forgot. Oh man, running everything's a chore here, buddy. All right, well I'm waiting for everybody to go away on here, and now I think I have Matt back here. There we go. All right, now we're kind of back in order. Whew. All confused. See now, David.
Mike will be back for the next
Can
show.
you see the shirt now? It was because of the camera with the 4 people on the screen. You should be super totally proud of me. And right now, I don't know if you guys have heard it or not, but it's going to start to rain like hell here shortly. It's been thundering like crazy for a little bit. That's why I kept looking up like, uh-oh. I can just see the power going out all of a sudden.
If it happens, it happens.
So yeah, it was a great show. We missed Mike being here, but, old people take a while to recover, I think he's going to be back, December sometime, Matt? I think his recuperation is till December. And then he has a walker, I believe.
Oh, I thought he already had the walker.
Oh, my.
Okay, well, what is the next show, actually, that's supposed to be coming up?
The next show that we are going to have, and Mike will be back for it, as far as we know right now, is going to be on August 11th, and it is going to be with Nomad Cigars, Fred's company, Godfather, Godfadr on Twitter, if you follow him on there. Okay. So it should be a neat show. I've smoked his cigars, and another small boutique manufacturer, trying to come up into the cigar world. I don't know about you, Matt. I think it's really interesting to talk with some of these smaller guys.
You know what? To a point, it seems like it's getting easier and easier for people to get it. I'm not saying it's easy by any means, but it seems like you have a lot of little companies popping up with cigars, and it seems like it's easier than it was for people to have a cigar put together for themselves.
Yeah, the only problem I see with some of the smaller companies is, well, even like with Cremo Cigars, and Nomad Cigars, it's hard to find shelf space, because when you have, people know the names Rocky Patel, they know Padron, they know, E.P. Korea, Gurkha, all these names.
Oh, and a lot of the bigger companies require so many facings. Just that I used to hear that General would require something like 40 facings, 20 to 40 facings, and for a cigar store to give up that much space, that's a lot of space.
And that's where I think it's neat. Well, like Illusione, when Dion started out, he started the same way. So did Pete, Tatawahe. Everybody started small and has come up through, and it's just interesting how, with them being on the show now, it'll be interesting in a year or two to have them back and see how they're progressing along.
Exactly.
So, all right. Did you have anything else, Matt? I got nothing either. So I guess we will say goodbye and
make sure you throw the picture up for a while.
Yeah, I'm getting there. Yeah, it's.
Don't just cut it off. Gotta wait for the lag.
But anyway, so hopefully you guys will join us August 11th at 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for Nomad Cigars with our next show. So till then.
Yep.